All right, friends, we are starting this part of our Azure Data Fundamentals Ultimate course with question number 91. Here we are tasked to identify the two uses of data visualization, and the options are represent trends and patterns over time, implement machine learning to predict future values, communicate the significance of data, enforce business logic across reports. Now, friends, data visualization allows users to graphically display data using charts, graphs, and dashboards, making it easy to identify trends, patterns, anomalies, and correlations over time that would be difficult to detect in raw data. For example, a line chart showing sales growth over 12 months is far easier to interpret than a spreadsheet of numbers. Data visualization helps translate complex data into meaningful, easy to understand visual formats that can be shared with stakeholders, decision makers, and non technical audiences. It makes data more accessible and actionable by clearly conveying insights and their business significance. Implementing machine learning to predict future values describes predictive analytics and machine learning. And enforcing business logic across reports describes business rule engines or reporting frameworks. Okay, this question is fill in the blanks type where we need to identify the Microsoft Power BI feature that enables users to create highly formatted fixed layout documents optimized for printing and archiving. Your options are dashboard, interactive report, paginated report, subscription. Friends, dashboard is a single page canvas that displays key metrics and KPIs using visualizations from multiple reports. So let's rule it out. Interactive report is a multi-page report designed for data exploration and interaction, allowing users to filter, drill down, and analyze data dynamically, but not optimized for printing or archiving. Now, paginated reports are designed to be pixel perfect documents where the layout is precisely controlled. They are called paginated because they are formatted to fit neatly across multiple pages. They are ideal for printing documents such as invoices, receipts, and financial statements. Subscription is a Power BI feature that allows users to schedule and receive email snapshots of reports and dashboards. It is a delivery mechanism, not a report type. All right. In this question, we are looking to determine the Azure Data Factory component that provides the compute environment for activities. Your options are SSIS packages, an integration runtime, a control flow, a pipeline. Now, an integration runtime is the compute infrastructure used by Azure Data Factory to provide data integration capabilities across different network environments. SSIS packages are legacy ETL packages from SQL Server that can be executed within ADF using an Azure SSIS integration runtime. A control flow defines the logical sequence and conditions for executing activities within a pipeline. It is a workflow orchestration concept, and a pipeline is a logical grouping of activities that together perform a data integration task. Okay, now we are going to go through a series of statements and you need to tell whether they are right or wrong. Now, the first statement is a Microsoft Power BI dashboard is associated with a single workspace. Now, folks, dashboards are created and reside within one specific workspace and cannot span multiple workspaces. They are built by pinning visuals from reports that exist within the same workspace or from other workspaces. But the dashboard itself belongs to only one workspace. Now, the second statement is a Microsoft Power BI dashboard can only display visualizations from a single dataset. A Microsoft Power BI dashboard can display visualizations from multiple datasets and multiple reports, making this an incorrect statement. Now, the third statement is a Microsoft Power BI dashboard can display visualizations from a Microsoft Excel workbook. This is a correct statement. You can connect to Excel workbooks stored in OneDrive for Business or SharePoint Online and pin Excel worksheet content such as tables, charts, and ranges directly as tiles onto a Power BI dashboard. All right, question number 95 is a matching type of question where we need to match the terms to the appropriate descriptions. Now, the terms in the question are data warehouses, dimension tables, extract, transform, and load, which is ETL, fact tables, online analytical processing OLAP. The first description is a solution that copies data from files and online transaction processing databases into an analytical processing system. Friends, ETL is the process of extracting data from source systems, which can be files, OLTP databases, transforming it into the required format and loading it into an analytical system. Second description is contains numeric value that can be analyzed. Fact tables store measurable quantitative numeric data such as sales amounts, quantities, and revenues that can be aggregated and analyzed. Let's move on to third statement, which is a solution that stores data in a relational schema that is optimized for read operations. Folks, data warehouse stores large volumes of structured data in schemas that are specifically optimized for read-heavy analytical queries. Remaining option, dimension table store descriptive categorical attribute that provides context to fact tables. And OLAP is a technology that enables fast multidimensional analytical queries on large datasets. All right, in this question, a bank's money transfer system must ensure that when reading account balances during a transaction, it cannot see a mix of old and new values, meaning it should never read the source account's balance from before the transfer while simultaneously reading the destination account's balance from after the transfer. We need to tell which asset property this scenario represents. Folks, isolation ensures that concurrent transactions execute independently of one another. This means the intermediate state of a transaction is not visible to other transactions. In this scenario, the system must see a consistent snapshot of both accounts, either both balances before the transfer or both balances after, never a mix of the two states. Now, question number 97 is asking us to identify the Azure storage service that implements key value model. Your options are Azure Queue, Azure Files, Azure Table, Azure Blob. Now, folks, Azure Queue implements a message queuing model for storing and retrieving messages for asynchronous communication between application components. Azure Files implements a file share model offering fully managed cloud file shares accessible via SMB and NFS protocols similar to traditional file systems. Azure Table Storage implements the key value model where each entity, which is row, is identified by a unique combination of partition key and a row key, making it a highly scalable NoSQL key value store. It is designed for storing large amounts of structured, non-relational data that can be accessed via key-based lookups. Remaining option, which we know is incorrect, Azure Blob implements an object storage model designed for storing large amounts of unstructured data such as images, videos, backups, and documents. Folks, if you are liking the content, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. We will move on to next question of the series where we have another series of statements and need to tell whether they are right or wrong. Now, the first statement is in a transactional database that guarantees atomicity, all statements in a transaction must complete successfully or the transaction must roll back. This is the exact definition of atomicity. It treats a transaction as a single indivisible unit. Either all operations succeed, which is commit, or all operations are undone, which is rollback. No partial transactions are allowed. Now, the second statement is in a transactional database that guarantees consistency, all data changes will be logged and accounted for. This statement describes durability, not consistency. Consistency ensures the database moves from one valid state to another, maintaining all predefined rules, constraints, and data integrity. Now, the third statement is in a transactional database that guarantees isolation, processes can see only data in a consistent state. This is a correct statement. Each transaction sees only data in a consistent committed state, preventing dirty reads and non-repeatable reads. Before we proceed, folks, I would like to introduce you to my TopMate profile. If you are seeking guidance on clearing certification exams, considering a career transition into DevOps or cloud computing, or require support with resume reviews or mock interviews, you can easily schedule a one-to-one session with me via TopMate. You will also find digital products available for purchase, including PDF version of all the certification questions featured on the channel. PDF will be available for download instantly as soon as purchase is completed. For any specific queries, feel free to use the priority DM option. I will respond as soon as possible. Do not forget to take advantage of the tips and coupon codes available at the top of my TopMate profile to enjoy these benefits at minimal cost. Friends, link to my TopMate profile is available in the description section of this video. So this question asks which type of data processing is used by a quality assurance application that reads data from a data warehouse. Options are online transaction processing, which is OLTP, batch processing, online analytical processing, which is OLAP, stream processing. Now, friends, OLTP is designed for managing real-time transactional data such as inserting, updating, and deleting individual records. Batch processing involves processing large volumes of data at scheduled intervals like nightly payroll processing. And friends, OLAP is the correct choice because data warehouses are specifically designed for analytical workloads. Stream processing involves processing continuous real-time data streams as they arrive. Examples include IoT sensor data, live fraud detection. Okay, 100 question of the series asks which Azure Data Factory component is used to orchestrate pipeline activities that depend on the output of other pipeline activities. Your options are a control flow, a data set, a linked service, and integration runtime. Friends, a control flow is the correct choice because it enables the orchestration and sequencing of pipeline activities based on dependencies, conditions, and the output of preceding activities. It allows you to define the logical execution order, handle branching, looping, and conditional execution within a pipeline. A dataset represents a named view of data that points to the data you want to use in your activities as inputs and outputs. A linked service acts as a connection string that defines the connection information needed for ADF to connect to external data sources and compute resources. An integration runtime provides the compute infrastructure for executing activities and moving data. All right, in this question, we need to identify the Azure Data Factory component that initiates the execution of a pipeline. The options are a control flow, a trigger, a parameter, an activity. In Azure Data Factory, a trigger is the component that initiates pipeline execution. Triggers define when and how a pipeline run is kicked off. For example, on a schedule, in response to an event like a file arriving in blob storage, or manually on demand. Activities are the steps that do the actual work within a pipeline. Control flow manages the sequencing and logic between activities, and parameters pass dynamic values into pipelines at runtime. Let's now look at the statement of question number 102. You have a dedicated SQL pool in Azure Synapse Analytics that is only used actively every night for 8 hours. You need to minimize the cost of the dedicated SQL pool as much as possible during idle times. The solution must ensure that the data remains intact. What should you do on the dedicated SQL pool? Your options are scale down the data warehouse units, pause the pool, create a user-defined restore point, delete the pool. When you pause a dedicated SQL pool in Azure Synapse Analytics, the compute resources are deallocated and you stop being billed for compute costs during that idle time. Let's understand why other options are incorrect. Now, scaling down DWUs reduces cost, but you are still paying for compute 24 by 7. It doesn't minimize cost as effectively as pausing. Creating a user-defined restore point is a backup or a snapshot feature for recovery purposes. It has no impact on running costs. Deleting the pool would eliminate costs entirely, but you would lose all your data, violating the requirement that data remains intact. In this question, we need to identify the workload type that describes the scenario in which you need to gather real-time telemetry data for a mobile application. The options are online transaction processing, batch, massively parallel processing, streaming. Now, real-time telemetry data from a mobile application is a classic streaming workload. OLTP is designed for transactional operations like inserts, updates, and deletes. It's real-time in nature, but focused on discrete transactions, not continuous telemetry ingestion. Now, batch processes large volumes of data at scheduled intervals, which is the opposite of real time. And MPP is an architecture used in data warehouse to run complex analytical queries across distributed nodes. It's not a workload type for data ingestion. Now, the statement for question number 104 is what is the characteristic of non-relational data? Your options are no indexes, self-describing entities, a well-defined schema, no unique key values. Now, folks, non-relational or NoSQL data stores are designed to handle data that doesn't conform to a rigid predefined structure. Entities in non-relational databases are self-describing. Remaining three options are just the opposite of the characteristics of NoSQL as they support indexes. Well-defined schema is a characteristic of relational database, and non-relational database do use unique keys. For example, a partition key, row key in Azure Table Storage, or an ID field in Cosmos DB. All right, in question number 105, we need to identify the two levels where you can set the throughput for an Azure Cosmos DB account. Your options are database, item, container, partition. Now, folks, you can configure throughput in Azure Cosmos DB at database and container level. Database level throughput is shared across all containers within that database, and container level throughput is dedicated exclusively to a single container, guaranteeing a reserved amount of RUs for that container. Now, items are individual records or documents within a container, and partitions are an internal physical concept that Azure Cosmos DB manages automatically under the hood. So folks, that's all for this part of the series. I'll see you soon in further parts of our Microsoft certified Azure Data Fundamentals Ultimate course. If you have not watched the previous parts of the series yet, then make sure to explore them as well. Link to the playlist is available in the description section of the video as well for your easy reference.